With gun violence at an all-time high, it's important that everyone does their part to try and stop it.
And for many citizens, that means reporting when you see or hear about crime in your community. CBS 58's Amanda Porterfield has more details on how you can do that with Milwaukee Crime Stoppers.
Crime Stoppers is an international organization with chapters in cities all over the world. It's been around for nearly 50 years, and in that time, the program has helped solve more than 1.2 million cases in the United States by giving people a way to report tips without anyone knowing who they are.
We put about 800,000 bad guys in jail, and during that time, we've paid out over $117 million in rewards. But I would point out that not everybody calls back for reward. A lot of people just don't want the police coming to their house.
We need to speak up.
In October of 2019, a group of concerned citizens officially formed one in Milwaukee. One of those people was Wisconsin State Crime Stoppers President K. Scott Abrams.
It's your civic responsibility to report information about crimes and criminals. We offer an opportunity to do it anonymously instead. That's not snitching. That's helping your community become safe and safer.
Abrams is the current treasurer for the Milwaukee Crime Stoppers Board and has been involved with the Crime Stoppers organization for more than 40 years.
How can you guarantee that their call is anonymous?
The only reason Crime Stoppers can exist is that it provides that anonymity. That's our promise to the community, that we will never identify those involved because we don't know who you are.
Here's how it works. You pick up the phone and dial 414-224-8477 or download and use the P3 Tips app. When you dial or use the app, your phone number is scrambled, so when the call center answers, they have no idea who you are. You provide your tip to the person on the line or on the chat. Then they give you a tip code number.
We'll give them a tip number. That's the only way we'll be able to identify them. Nothing to do with their name, nothing to do with their address. It's just a tip number.
You keep that tip number, and then you have to call back a few weeks later and provide that tip number to see if the crime that you called about has been solved.
Milwaukee Crime Stoppers phone number. We don't have caller ID on that. It's just a phone number, just a blank phone with a couple of buttons on it. We don't have a caller ID switch on it. When we get things through our internet, that's all washed, that's all scrubbed before it gets to the Crime Stoppers program. So we don't want the name. We just want your information.
Has anybody ever been found out, their identity?
No, not through a Crime Stoppers tip reporting a crime, no.
After you provide the tip, the information goes to the police department where detectives use that information to work on solving the case. We sat down with Milwaukee Police Chief Jeffrey Norman.
Do you feel that Milwaukee Crime Stoppers is an asset to the community?
Absolutely. We see and continue to see a lot of success stories in regards to, assisting us to, bring fugitives into custody, having tips of who is causing harm. Again, we're information driven, and through these tips, there is a result of a reward.
Once the tip has helped investigators make an arrest, they let the board know. Based on the details of the case and how detailed the tip was, it helps the board decide how much reward money that tipster gets. But again, the only way you learn if you'll get a reward is if you call back with that tip number. Crime Stoppers cannot contact you. If your tip solved a case, the person on the line will tell you the secret location where you pick up your cash.
Another question I get is, well, how won't they find my identity when I pick up my money?
No, and we do that through, through the tip number. When they go to pick up their reward, all they do is they give that tip number, and the envelope is handed to the individual with the cash in it, and there's no check. There's not a check involved. It's all done by cash.
And there's no cameras watching these people or anything like that?
No.
Since 2019, tips into Milwaukee Crime Stoppers have made arrests in 5 homicides, solved more than 40 crimes so far, and rewarded anonymous community members with more than $13,000. But with the violence that we've seen, there's a lot more work to do. With your help.
Sometimes we're the best unknown secret in the community. What is Crime Stoppers? And as we encounter people in the community, we want to get that word out to everybody so they know what it is.
In Milwaukee, Amanda Porterfield, CBS 58 News.
And if you have a tip you would like to share, please contact Milwaukee Crime Stoppers. Once again, that number is 414-224-TIPS. You can also use the P3 Tips app.